free solution.
Hey, I am so happy to be here today on WYSL Rochester, New York, WACK Newark, New York. Yes, it is Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. And you can reach out to me, 585-346-3000. Usually, as you know, I am host of the Sharp Way Show. But today I'm here with you. And I'm going to do what I often do. And it looks like it's story time. And you might say, wait a minute, Larry, you need to give us more of these stories again. Yeah, I am. This one, though, not the best way of starting. It's about loss and my personal loss. And I know many of you, if you're listening or watching, you've had loss too. Recently, I lost my stepfather, who was the last in my family of that generation. There are no more grandparents. They're all gone. A few months ago, I lost my stepmom. And in both cases, neither of those people were in New York. Years ago, I lost my mom. About 8 years ago now, 7, 8 years ago now. Again, not in New York. As I see people who are close to me, as I get older, and as they get older, and as they pass away, there is a common thing. They're not in New York. Now, in the case of my step-pop who just passed away, he was born in New York. Born in Brooklyn. Lived on Long Island, upstate New York. And then he packed up and he had to leave. And he left with my mom. Now, my mom was an immigrant. And she came to New York thinking this is going to be the land of opportunity. And in general, that was true. In general, that was true. But at one point, she was at a spot where she just couldn't live here anymore. You might say, what do you mean by that? Was your mom poor or destitute? Well, she had been in her life. But when she was older and retired, she wasn't. She was not destitute. She wasn't even poor. She said, Larry, why'd she live? Why'd she leave? Sorry, why'd she leave? Well, I talk often about the cost of living, right? All the time, the cost of living, housing and fuel and food and medicine, right? I get that. That's how do we survive? It's how we live. But I want to go one step further on the cost of living. And I mean the cost of really living. Larry, talking about buying a Maserati and driving around. No. I'm talking about doing the things that you enjoy. And maybe that is buying a Maserati and driving around. Maybe that's what you like. But maybe it's just going to a baseball game sometimes, football game. Maybe it's taking a trip into New York City and seeing the ballet or an opera. Maybe it's mountain climbing. Maybe it's hiking. Maybe it's fishing. Maybe it's joining a club and playing rugby on the weekends. Whatever is that thing or things that you enjoy. Maybe it's traveling. That too is living. And if I'm just living to breathe, if I'm just living to work, am I really living? And for many New Yorkers, that's their life. And what winds up happening, and you might know it, this could be you, or it could be someone who you love. You actually stop living for yourself. You stop. And you start living for someone else. And that someone else is usually a family member. Not always, but very often. So it's your elderly mom or dad. And you're working so they can have a decent retirement, or that they can be in a home, or they can live with you, or something like that. You basically become a caregiver and you kind of give up your life because you realize my life is just existing. So I'm going to give someone else a better life. Or it could be your children. I'm going to stay here and fight this out because my son or my daughter's in high school and I need them to get out and get into a good school. And I got to keep working so I can help pay for that school or make sure they get into a good school. Whatever it is, you start working for yourself. You stop working for yourself and you're only working for somebody else. Well, that sounds in a way like a wonderful thing, an unselfish thing. And it is. That's a great thing. The question is, why does it have to be either or? Why can't you both support your parent and or your son or daughter and be happy yourself too? Why is that so crazy for so many of us that we can do one or the other? And I remember when my mom was considering packing up and moving to South Carolina. And there was a part of me that wanted to keep her here. There was a part of me that wanted to fight with her and say, no, you can't move. You're going to move hours and hours away from me. I'm your only son. And from my daughter, who was her granddaughter, right? You're going to leave your granddaughter. And what if something goes wrong? How do I get to you? I can't just drive an hour or whatever, or hop on a subway and come see you, or grab a cab. It doesn't work. I got to fly down there or drive for 14 hours or whatever the time was then. I don't remember how long it was. But then I realized my mom's got to live for herself. She can't just live for me or my daughter. And to be totally open with you, there was a selfish part of me that wanted her to sacrifice, that wanted her to stay here and suffer for me and my daughter. There was. And I hate to say it, but there was a part of me that absolutely wanted that. I didn't do it though. I wanted my mom to live for herself. I wanted her to have a good life. So I didn't fight her at all. Not that I could have won, but maybe, who knows? Maybe I could have guilted my mom into staying. It's possible. But I didn't want to do it anyway. And when she left, she took off and went down there, took my step pop with her. And they were there for a couple of years. And then she got sick. And then she got cancer. And when my mom died, I couldn't be there. I was not happy about that. Still not happy about that. But that's what happened. So you might say, Larry, why would you even tell this story? Why would you share that? Because many of you have heard me. You've maybe heard me say this before. New York State is so oppressive that it breaks up families. I wasn't making that up. I wasn't telling some weird story. That's my story. And it's probably yours too. If you live in this state now, or used to live in this state, you either have left or you know someone who has. Someone you care about, someone you love, who's packed up and left. Again and again and again. Now I have a niece from my step pop. So my step niece, born in New York, left, gone. She's not here. And she's young. She's not, 50. She's like 20 something. So she's young. She's gone. I have a daughter who turns 18 next month. She's packing up this fall. She's leaving. I don't think she's coming back. I don't think she is. So now my family, again, is being torn apart by the lack of living in New York. Could my mom have survived in New York? Yes, she could have survived. Could she have had a decent life? No. Can most youngsters survive in New York? Yes. Can they have a decent life? No. The biggest issue that you will hear me talk about all the time, the biggest reason why I run for office, the biggest reason why I preach to you every Tuesday is because families are being broken up in this state because of how oppressive our government is. New York State is an amazing state. And whatever you like and whatever you think is good for living, whatever you want to do for your life, you can do here. Whatever's your thing, it's here. But the government's so oppressive, you can't take advantage. And no one has a plan. Am I wrong? Call me and tell me. Get in the chat and tell me. Larry Sharp on A Free Solution. WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Oh, those injury attorney ads.
Hurt on your couch? Call 555-OUCH.
It's kind of cute watching that injury attorney buying breakfast for a crash test dummy, but while fun is fun, there's nothing amusing about getting your life back together after a personal injury or a motorcycle accident, or when you need defense for a DWI charge. Christopher Johnson takes your case seriously, and you'll feel like you're his only client because when you meet with him, your case gets 100% of his attention. So instead of cute singing jingles and magic phone numbers,
fall out of a tree? Call 33333.
write this number down and keep it with you. 585-415-3803. 415-3803. After all, Christopher Johnson knows you're no dummy. Get individual attention and integrity, experience, and expertise. Put the power of one on your legal team. 415-3803. Stay safe, be healthy, drive sober. Christopher Johnson Attorney, personal injury, car or motorcycle accidents, DWI defense.
As a veteran of the United States military, I can finally get the opportunity to enjoy special events, things that we couldn't afford, thanks to VetTix. Every empty seat at a concert, a game, or a play is a missed opportunity to say thanks to a veteran and service member. We can give our veterans a special event where they too can create their own cherished memories. Visit vettix.org. Find out how you can make a difference in a veteran's life.
Only available in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com. Official top quality tees, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting the colorful WYSL logo or the already famous Mount Worstmore line of merch depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who is front and center up on that mountain. WYSL official items make perfect gifts, or they're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Locally produced and sold only in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
A free solution.
Yes, it is Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. WYSL, Rochester, New York. WACK, Newark, New York. That's the good Newark, not the Jersey Newark. Sorry, Jersey. Just not as cool as us. 585-346-3000. And you might say to yourself, I like this show. It's a good show. You're right. It is. And you can actually listen to it or watch it on the internet if you want to. Absolutely, either one. Every day at noon. You can just follow A Free Solution on YouTube and Facebook. That's all it takes. And you are ready to go. You get cool people like Kevin Wilson, Tim O'Connor, Craig Miles. Come on. It's the cool people. You can join the cool kids club. It's all good. I appreciate it. I gave some story about my parents, my step-parents, and how when they passed, they weren't here. When my stepfather passed, I also wasn't there. So I wasn't there when my mom passed. I wasn't there when my stepdad passed. Both of them passed in South Carolina, not in New York. My kids are probably going to leave New York. Does that mean I'm the holdout? Do I stay here and hope they come back one day? I know some of you are saying, Larry, you never shut up. Like you don't stop talking about fixing New York. You keep talking about it. You have a show that says A Free Solution, which is about fixing New York. Yes. Why won't you shut up? I don't want to break my family up. It's kind of that simple. Maybe I'm selfish after all. Maybe I've learned that I should have been more selfish with my mom. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe not. Maybe I don't want to lose my kids. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just mad. I'm annoyed that my state has abandoned me. And now I have to abandon it to keep my family together? How many of you think that? How many New Yorkers think that? And I would ask you, what person, what leader, and I'm doing air quotes when I say that, is even talking about it? They talk about things as if they're helping us. We have funds for this and funds for that and funds for the other thing. And we'll raise more taxes for this and we'll raise more taxes for that. Awesome. That's great. How does that help me live in this state? Does it help me live in this state? Does it keep my family together? No? Why the hell do I care? Who are you impressing? Clearly not enough New Yorkers, as we keep losing population, as people keep packing up and leaving. So whatever you're thinking, you think you're helping somehow. That's not true. I think there's the biggest issue. They actually don't think they're helping. They actually don't care. They don't care. The reality of it is they spend the money so they can give the money out and be powerful and stay in charge and keep their good lifestyles. Most of the people who are running for office have no idea what it's like to struggle. Most don't. Which is why every time you see them go to their conventions or go on TV, they always want to outpour the other person. I struggled. I'm the American dream. They all say that. But either they've forgotten where they came from or they were never there. One of those two things is true. And I wish they'd just be honest. I'd rather them just say, I'm elite. I don't care about you. At least I can respect the honesty. Okay. You think you're better than us. You think you're smarter than us. Okay. At least I respect that you're honest at least. So now I know what I'm doing. I know what kind of conversation I can have. At least I can do that. Versus this, I'm one of you. They're not. Let me grab a couple comments. The chat's starting to explode. I think I might have hit a nerve on some of these things because I think a lot of you are feeling the same thing that I'm feeling. George writes, I live in upstate New York from Jackson Heights originally. For those who don't know, Jackson Heights is in Queens. Although the cost of living up here is better, it's still terrible. Definitely want to move out of the state after retirement. You know, I hear that so often. And I hate it. George, I'm not mad at you. I get it. I feel that too. I just wish it wasn't true. And I hope that this time people hear what I have to say and start to take some of my ideas to heart and we start changing the state. I don't want you to leave, George. I get why you will. I won't be mad if you go. I'll be sad if you go, because that means that New York State didn't do what it should have done. Because the fact that you're saying that you want to stay here tells me you get what I'm talking about. You know how awesome this state is, but how bad our government is. Yes, 100%. So someone says, a random Facebook user, I feel like I mostly work for the government. Just the looming threat of debtor's prison. You know, a lot of people think, because I'm libertarian, that I want no one to pay any taxes and we got to end taxes tomorrow. Would I like that? Yeah, I would. Guilty as charged. Yes, I would like that. I'm also a realist, and I understand that we're not going to end taxes tomorrow. I got it. I wish we could. If I had a magic wand and I could make it happen, you know I would do it. I live in the real world. So do you. Could we make it to where we feel like we're not working for somebody else? Could we just go to that level? Can we just do that first? Can we start to feel like our community matters? Can we start to move to a point where I don't feel like every answer is a government program? Can we just go there? Give me that. And then we'll keep moving, right? Let's just do that. There are so many people who feel that they can't not work. You know, like the world is going to end if they don't work. And not because they want to work. Now, that person I'm okay with, right? If you love your job so much that you just can't wait to go to work, man, I envy you. That's awesome. That's a great place to be. I hope you're all there. I'm not talking about that person. That person's lucky. I'm talking about the person who doesn't really want to work at their job, but feels like if they don't, the world's going to end. That's a horrible place to be. Too many New Yorkers are there. Or worse, people like George, who's just waiting till they retire. Just waiting. The amount of New Yorkers who are just waiting for the thing to make them move. They retire, their elderly parent passes away, their kids get out of high school. This should be the number one thing coming out of the mouth of everyone who claims to be a leader in this state. Number one thing. When I ran for governor in 2018, I said that I would judge my 4 years by one very important metric. One, and only one. Did we stop the bleeding? Did New Yorkers stop leaving the state? And then people would respond, well, Larry, don't you want people coming to the state? Give me another 4 years then. I'm just trying to stop the bleeding first. Can we just not bleed? Let's do that. Again, would I love New York to be the mecca of people flocking here? Of course I would. I live in the real world. So do you. Let's just stop the bleeding. If I didn't stop the bleeding, then I'd failed. And I would charge anyone who runs for office. If you're not stopping the bleeding, you're failing. Let's get New York to stop bleeding. Larry Sharp on a free solution. 585-346-3000 here in Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and more of your comments from the chat. Thank you, guys. Back after the break.
Celebrating 35 years.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for today. We'll see clouds mixing with some nice sunshine out there. It turned out to be a very pleasant afternoon. Temperatures milder. We'll be in the 50s and low 60s, a bit cooler up near Lake Ontario. For tonight, increasing clouds. Could be a shower after midnight. We'll stay in the 40s on Wednesday. Maybe a morning shower. Then mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures in the 50s to near 60. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
WYSL.
Rock On Harley Davidson and Rock On Power Sports, West Henrietta Road. Shop the greatest selection of legendary Harleys and save big on a wide array of used bikes. And Rock On Power Sports has rides from Honda, Kawasaki, and Yamaha. Rock On has a helpful staff to save you big money. The Rock On Service Department has expert technicians and a great supply of parts to get and keep you on two wheels. WYSL listeners get $500 off used motorcycles while supplies last. Rock On has side-by-sides, ATVs, and jet boats too. Anything that's fun and goes fast. On and off-road and on the water, shop the all-new Rock On first. Rock On Harley Davidson and Rock On Motorsports, 2600 West Henrietta Road. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Call 424-2120. Visit rockonharleydavidson.com.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
1, 2, 3, 4, G World Girl. 2, 4, G Girl. Wingless beauties taking the floor. Lingerie like never before. You can't stop the night coming down with the heat of the day. So hot, hot, hot love is lingerie, the epitome of femininity, pretty as a flower's epiphany. G World, that's your world.
Only available in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com. Official top quality tees, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting the colorful WYSL logo or the already famous Mount Worstmore line of merch depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who is front and center up on that mountain. WYSL official items make perfect gifts, or they're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Locally produced and sold only in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
Lung cancer doesn't discriminate. It affects people in big cities and in small towns. And that's why UR Medicine is making it easier for patients throughout the region to get lung cancer screening. If you're between the ages of 50 and 80 and currently smoke cigarettes or have quit within the last 15 years, you can now get lung cancer screening at Noyes Memorial Hospital and St. James Hospital. To learn more, go to lungcancerscreening.urmc.edu. UR Medicine. Medicine of the highest order.
Eyes in Rochester is a full-service ophthalmology office, and we specialize in general ophthalmology, taking care of people from childhood to adult and seniors. We do general eye exams. We specialize in cataract surgery, corneal surgery, and disease, as well as LASIK surgery. We also have a full-service optical shop and contact lens fitting service.
Visit Eyes on Rochester at 1157 Fairport Road.
Yes, it's Turnbull tune-up time for your air conditioning system. Whether you have an attic system, a ductless wall mount system, or even a conventional central air conditioning unit attached to your furnace, call Turnbull today to schedule your appointment to save energy and money. If you need a new system, Turnbull can provide a free estimate to meet your comfort needs and budget. Call Turnbull today, 343-2005.
You'll be comfortable with the best. Turnbull Heating and Air.
In Avon and Livingston County, call 226-6180.
A free solution.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharp back here on A Free Solution. Usually the host of the Sharpway Show. If you want to check me out, head over to thesharpway.com or the Sharpway YouTube page or to LarrySharp.com. Larry Sharp YouTube page. All good. I am on all the things, all the interwebs. Of course I am. But right now, here on A Free Solution, WYSL, Rochester, New York, WACK, Newark, New York, 585-346-3000. Before the break, I was talking about people waiting for that thing, that event that makes them pack up and leave. This goes right back to why are we living, or the cost of actually living, the price of real living. Think about where your head goes. Not that it's a bad thing, again, to care about your elderly parent or your children. Of course you should. But when things get so bad in New York State, we begin to focus only on that because that's the thing that we see. So our happiness becomes muted. And while there is a part of that that's good, right? You decide that I have to save money for my parent, or I have to save money for my kid, or I've got to spend time with my parent or my kid or sibling, whatever the case may be, niece, nephew, aunt, uncle. We begin to think that our happiness should be muted. So where we might have enjoyed going to the football game or baseball game, or taking a trip into a city, whatever the thing we might do, we'll take just having a beer at the bar because that's fine. Nothing wrong with having a beer at the bar. Nothing wrong with having a beer at the bar. If that's what you like, awesome. But if you're settling for that and not doing the other things that you enjoy, then it's not so good. You should be able to do both the beer at the bar and take the trip into the city or whatever is the thing that you enjoy. And that also begins to bother me because I think that makes it to a point where we stop striving individually for something great. And we should all be striving for whatever we think is great. That does matter. Let me grab a couple more comments if I can. There's a bunch of them coming in, and I do appreciate it. Let's see here. Elaine says, my in-laws moved to PA, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. They won't move back up here. Yeah. I think we've lost so many, Elaine. I agree completely. David responds, I've encouraged both of my children to leave New York, and I've helped them. In a few years, I'll make sure to sell off everything and leave to give them no reason to return. I get it. I just hate it. I do. He continues, I'm a skilled tradesman. One kid is a year away from a doctoral degree, the other on her way to college for chemistry. None of us are people you'd want to see leave a state. David, you make a very serious point, a very valid point. We are losing a lot of people that we shouldn't be losing. And we're not drawing in more people that we should be drawing in. You're right. I don't want you leaving. This state lacks tradesmen like there's no tomorrow. Why do you think we require so much foreign labor? Because our people aren't doing it. And now you got kids getting a doctoral degree, and maybe your daughter's going to be a chemical engineer, as they say, chemi. They become a chemi. Couldn't we use those people here? I would say yes. That's not a bad, I'd love to have them here, but they're not going to stay. You're right. It is not a good thing. I agree. Yeah. Another person says, most younger people I know who stay in New York are usually able to do so because of inheritance or a payout for life insurance. Ironically, that usually also causes issues among family members, which just further breaks down the family. Oh my God, what a great point. So now we're staying until granddad or dad or mom or aunt or auntie passes away. So now we can fight over inheritance. So we don't want to be here, which makes us unhappy. Some of them pack up and leave because they can't handle it. Then auntie passes, and we all say, well, I deserved more because I stayed here. Well, I deserve more because I left. And now we're all fighting. And now we get caught in a court system, which you know how good our court system is. Yeah. You're right. This is bad upon bad. I agree completely. It is a very challenging place to be in, right? It's very challenging. But I think we can fix it, right? I think we could fix this. With enough ideas and apologies and hope, I think we could. Jeff responds, I'm with you, Larry. I'm still here because my kids are happy and I don't want to uproot them. Otherwise, I'd be up. Yeah, you are not the only person, Jeff. Lots of people think the same thing. Then I'm sure they'll leave me when they go to college and I'll be stuck here. You might not. Look, here's what I'm going to hope. We make some changes here. We make things change here in this state, and then you'll want to stay. And I hope that your kids decide to stay. And I also hope, I mean, I'm asking a lot, but I hope David stays too, and I hope his kids come back. That's the most important piece. If we make that happen, oh my God, things change. Another anonymous person says, Democrats often say that New York is great because of all the social programs, and residents who complain are brats who don't know how good they have it. You know, I'm going to give the Democrats credit where credit is due. Part of that's correct. That's no doubt. Part of that is correct. And the part is what I said before. If you just want to live, New York State's not a bad place to live. If you just want to live, there are tons of social programs that will keep you alive. They're right. Will it keep you happy? Will you be able to do the things you want to do? No. Because the second you move away from those programs, the punishment begins. All of a sudden now, you're stuck on that program forever. So they keep you trapped here. So a part of what they're saying is correct. The odds of you starving to death in New York State, slim to none. We talk all the time about, oh, everybody's starving, kids are starving. That's not a thing. Not in New York State, it isn't. The people who starve to death across this country, and there are very, very few of them, I would bet less than 50 any given year across the entire state. I'm sure one of you could check me to see if I'm wrong. And most of them people who starve to death are one of two things. Crazy accident, like someone gets trapped in the mountains and breaks their leg or something and can't leave. So crazy accident like that. Or two, they're an addict who has chosen, not logically, obviously, because they're an addict, to take drugs and to not eat. And if you know, I've had an addict in my life. I've been very forward about that. And some of you who are either addicts or have addicts in your life know what I'm talking about. An addict will pick the drug over food. That's how that works. So those are the two issues. Crazy accident and addict who's chosen drug over food. That's the only people in this country who starve to death. So they're right. You can live, survive in New York because of all our government programs. It's accurate. Can you be happy? Can you thrive? Can you build a family? Clearly not. If that were true, people wouldn't be leaving. So they're kind of right. I don't just want to be the Democrats bad guy. I want to be the honest guy to see if that. I don't want you to think that I'm just saying other guy bad. I'm saying things are bad and we can fix them. Gene says, but Larry, your former King Cuomo thought that he was a success as long as the people who left were Republicans. I'm pretty sure your new leader, Hochul, emissary of God, would agree too. Well, I would say yes to all of those things. My governor now, Kathy Hochul, does believe she talks to God, or God talks directly to her. I love that. I mean, we can all talk to God, but she thinks God talks directly to her. That's what she believes. And that's fine. Maybe she is that cool. But your point's another valid one. And it brings to a separate piece that I want some of you who are listening to really understand. In New York State, people who are anti-Democrat or pro-conservative Republican have been leaving this state for years. This state is a deep blue state. Even with all the problems, the people who will be fighting are leaving. But I'm still here. And that's really important. Larry Sharp on A Free Solution. WYSL, Rochester, New York. WACK, Newark, New York. 585-346-3000. Back with your calls and comments after the break.
The WYSL store is now open. With nicer weather, your car needs an official Voice of Liberty bumper sticker. There's a great selection to help you show your love of God, the Constitution, and free and safe schools. Here are just a few available. Shut Up, Fauci, Kathy Hochul, Save America, Support the Second Amendment, Scam Alert, January 6th, God, Please Help Us, Close the Mexican Border, Save America, Stop Voting for Democrats. And there are gas pump stickers reading, Democrats did this. These are standard weather-resistant bumper stickers guaranteed to get you horn honks and thumbs up in traffic. Choose from other locally made WYSL Voice of Liberty merch too, like tees, hoodies, drinkware, and more. Perfect gifts for any Liberty lover. Check out the exclusive WYSL Mount Worstmore shirts, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting our 4 worst presidents. Guess who's front and center? Shop the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
There's a place in the village of Avon you and your critters will love. Whether they're big or small, whether they've got hair, fur, or feathers, Avon Feed fits every need. There's a full selection of pet foods, bird feeders, and wild bird food, plus garden tools, quality grass seed, and a great selection of dry shod boots. Buy 10 bags of quality wild bird food, get the next bag free. Choose farm feeds and great equine products from Poland Grains. Find everything for your pet from feeding bowls to toys, leads, collars, beds, crates, and tie-outs. Avon Feed and Supply has what the big pet chain stores will never have: Tim Cole and his great knowledgeable staff. Choose from premium local products like Firefly, dairy, goat soaps, and lotions. While you're at Avon Feed, don't forget your 2-legged pets with River at Thousand Island cheese and great flavors, including the new 12-year-old cheddar, plus Chef James bourbon meat sauce, once again nut butters and Nunday mustards. Open weekdays 9 to 6, Saturday 9 to 4. Avon Feed and Supply, West Main Street at the bottom of the hill, just west of the Circle.
A free solution.
Yes, it is Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. So happy you're joining me today. WYSL, Rochester, New York. WACK, Newark, New York. Happy that you are here with me. And if you want to follow us, you know you can. A Free Solution, YouTube, Larry Sharp, YouTube, Sharp Way, YouTube, all good. But some people in the chat have been talking about the number of people who are watching online. Let me see if I can grab a couple of these. They're asking about here. Delivery says, Larry, you must be D-ranked. Mathematically, there's no way you could have this low of a YouTube audience with nearly 40,000 subs. Even I, with only 2,000 subs, get more than you. Live stream from Odyssey too. You are correct, my friend. I have been shadow banned for a long time. YouTube, Facebook, I'm horribly shadow banned, which is why I'm not just saying to watch me on Larry Sharp. You can also watch me on A Free Solution. When I do go live, and for those of you who are watching, some of you are listening, for those of you watching, I actually go live, stream live on 6, 7, or 8 different pages. So whatever you're seeing, multiplied by 6, 7, or 8, or whatever the number is, I'm doing on many other forums to try to get more viewers. So you are correct. But this show, by the way, this is a terrestrial radio show here at WYSL. So you can just go to WYSL and listen also. If you're in Western New York, listen on your radio station. So absolutely, you can listen anywhere. But you're right. I'm already moving to Odyssey and to all the other locals, all of them. Clearly, the mainstream, even mainstream media doesn't want me. And now even mainstream social media doesn't want me anymore. I'm the guy talking about solutions. They are not happy about that. There's not enough drama in what I do. So yes, thank you for that. So let me keep going if I could. Let's see. Grab a couple more of these. Logic says, my body is in New York, but at this point, I have already spiritually moved to Texas. There's a lot of people who are thinking that. I remember, some of you know the story, I had considered after my mother died, moving to North Carolina, leaving New York and saying, why am I here anymore? This was back in 2017. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to pack up and go. And I went down to North Carolina. And for what I do for my day job, which believe it or not is not this, I'm a business consultant. So I do for a living in New York City. I need a big city to do what I do, to make any money. So I thought, well, Charlotte's a big city. I'll go there. And I went there and I could sell my Matchbox. You even know what a Matchbox is? Shoebox. There we go. Shoebox of a house here in Queens and buy a mansion in North Carolina and pay less taxes. And instead of me moving, I got angry. And I said, I'm going to come back. And I'm going to run for governor in 2018, win and change things. That, by the way, did not go as planned. that did not go as planned. But here I am, still here, at it again. Michael says, we are losing the blue-collar workers, the backbone of labor. Will take years to fix this. We'd love to see some change. You are correct. Every time you hear me talk about a solution, it's not a pass a law. Pass a law feels good and seems like it will work. But these kind of problems that you're talking about, Michael, you are 100% correct. This is not a one-year fix. Not only do we have to make changes so that people want to be in the trades, but they have to want to stay. They have to feel like it's going to change. People who are running these businesses have to want to stay, and people who are in other states have to want to come back. That's not 5 minutes. That is a long, tough slog, but can be done. And Byron responds, thank you. Nothing in politics cannot be undone. 100% correct. Thank you, my friend. You just made my day. Jericho says, good point. He's talking about the people being fed, addicts being fed. Meanwhile, there's plenty of help for that addict to get food, but not enough to get them clean. Well, if they get clean, they're not part of the system anymore. And the goal is to keep them part of the system. And if you look at what our governor has said, her answer for addicts and for mentally ill people is better drugs in prison. Yes, you might think I'm joking about that. I'm not. Literally, that's her plan. Well, since we're going to accept that our prison system is going to be the largest mental health facility in the state, and we're not going to support our corrections officers who have to handle this problem, who have to handle this mess. We're not going to ask them for any input. We're not going to support them at all. We're just going to make sure that the addicts and mentally ill people in prison have better drugs, because that'll solve the problem. That's her law. That's her rule. And that's my point. It's exactly what I'm talking about here. Michael, same concept. Fixing our prison system is also not 5 minutes. It is a long system, and making sure we have our corrections officers as part of the solution. But we don't, though, at all. That's a problem. We've got to fix that without question. We just have to. So, yes. Elaine says, I don't have Twitter, but people seem stirred up about Elon Musk buying a bunch of Twitter stock. Elon Musk, whether you like him or don't like him, is brilliant. It's brilliant. He'll buy a bunch of Twitter because he bought it. The value will go up and he gets richer. Brilliant. Will Twitter get any better? I don't know. Maybe. But he's going to make money. So I guess, well done for him. I hope he makes changes. I hope he cares. He sounds like he cares. He does. That is the image he's projecting. I hope that image is real. Elaine, I really do. I hope it's real. If there is someone who can fix broken Twitter, it's him. So I do have some hope. I do. Not that much, because very often what he'll do, not just him, people who have cash and resources, they'll come in, make some money, and walk away. I hope that's not him. I'm just saying that's often. Look, if I'm correct, I hope I'm correct, and he does care, and he will change things. I'll be saying he's a great guy. I hope he is. Not sure that's true. So Logic responds, interesting. In my experience, YouTube is worse than Facebook with shadow banning, Larry. Well, what's happened is I haven't gained followers on YouTube or Facebook since COVID. And I've put out more content, better content than I ever have since COVID. So that's how I know. Well, I was against mandates. So if you're against mandates, you're obviously evil and we have to crush you. And you're obviously misinformation, so we have to crush you. So that's why I got shadow banned horribly. For those of you might remember, when I was doing the Sharpway show before COVID,
1 minute,
20, 30,000 views. Easy. Now I surely get 4,000 or 5,000. And it's not because my content's worse. It's the reverse. So I think you're absolutely correct. 100% correct. I'm horribly shadow banned, but we're moving and we're doing more. And this is radio. You can just listen on the radio. It's still good. And I'm glad you guys are still here with me. That's the most important piece. Everything I talked about is focused on keeping people here in New York. It's focused on keeping people happy. You being able to not just live, but to really live. You can do that without raising taxes, without raising fines and fees. You can find a solution. A free solution. The name of the show. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.